Welcome to the 20th episode of the Downtime Podcast. My name is Jeremy.
20!
And that's Lisa.
Hi, everyone.
Hello again.
Happy Friday. We're recording on a Friday this week.
Yeah, first in a while, I think. Actually,
Yeah, because Yeah. Actually, have we even ever recorded on a Friday?
No. Wait, well, yeah, we did. There were a couple episodes where we recorded on a Friday after hours in the office.
Oh, that's what. Yeah.
Yeah, but like not
That's
here.
what you mean.
You know? Do you want to announce some exciting news that we have?
Some new things with the podcast, actually.
Yas.
We are officially on iTunes.
Yay!
So, if you are a SoundCloud user or a Podbean user that happens to have an iPhone or uses iTunes in some manner, you can now download the podcast and enjoy.
Yeah, it's on iTunes basically. So please give us a listen, spread the word. We'd love to hear more from you guys.
That's crazy. This podcast has grown so much since we started.
I know. It'd be cool.
And by the way,
yeah,
this is the 20th episode.
I know. 20. That's a milestone.
20.
We're almost legal to drink.
Except we already are.
Yes. I mean, the podcast is.
Oh!
not
okay.
us. Not us as people.
Yeah.
I mean, the podcast.
That's what you meant.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, everyone who's listening and supporting us. And we're just gonna go up from here and do what we love. And hopefully you'll follow us in the process.
Yeah, please send us questions, comments. We'd love to read them out loud, and we love hearing your feedback, and we love hearing questions, and we love answering your questions.
Yes, which, by the way, we do have a question at the end of the podcast. But if you're interested in sending something in, go ahead and go to the website triangle-c.blog, and then you can send a question in the contacts. You can even set, and it also has the email posted there, or you can go to any of the platforms where we have the podcast and either send either write a comment or a DM.
Yeah, you can go to on the website. There's a tab that says Downtime Podcast, and if you click on that, there's a link to all of our platforms. Were there any other announcements aside from that? Or no.
No, not
Okay.
at this moment.
Okay. So
Yee.
we could talk about stuff we're playing right now. Before we get into the dirty deets that is Yakuza Kiwami, do you want to talk about Skyrim, your Skyrim adventures?
Okay. There's a few things that I discovered about Skyrim that I didn't really look much into for the PlayStation version, but I will do eventually. For one, I've noticed for the first time, and it's so hard to see because the text is really small on the menu, there is actually a mods section where you can add mods.
You know, I heard about mods being available for Skyrim on consoles, but I didn't know what it was going to be like, and I didn't hear any other information outside of the fact that you might have to pay for it.
See, that's what I'm thinking. I think you have to pay for the mods. I know that in the PC game, of course, you can just download your own, or you can make it through the community.
Yeah.
I also know that there's mods that you have to buy, and I think that these mods may be Bethesda owned.
Ah, there's the catch.
I know.
So you can't have Legend of Zelda weapons and fight Master Chief while flying head crabs are falling from the sky.
So that's what I'm going to find out eventually this weekend. I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to see what kind of mods are available on Skyrim. Because it would be really cool. There's so many things that I see in PC videos that I want to try to do. I heard that there's this mod, and I'm sure many people who play Skyrim would agree, but the spiders are really creepy in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure they were also creepy in Oblivion or Morrowind.
Yes, they were. It was gross.
Yeah.
And hairy. They're hairy.
They're gross, they're hairy, they're spiky, really odd colors. It freaks me out, and I know that there's a mod that exists where you can turn all the spiders into bears.
I haven't played Skyrim, so I don't really have a comment on the spiders.
Yeah.
Sorry. I going back to the mods a little bit. I think my favorite mod from Skyrim that has come out is like turning all the dragons into Thomas's tank engine.
Oh, that's actually really funny.
There's like in the opening scene when you're about to be beheaded, there's like a roar that's supposed to happen, but you're like doot doot, like what was that? Like,
is it the theme song?
Yeah. You hear like doot doot, and then like what's that noise? And then like it's nothing. Continue, and then they continue, and then you see like a train fall down, and it's like dun 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 dun. I'm like, oh my god, this is the best mod ever.
I gotta watch a video for this, but I imagine that does it just like roll around and like what a train does?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it breathes fire or ice or whatever.
It breathes fire.
Yeah, it's like a train that breathes fire. It's just really funny.
Oh, that is so awesome.
Because it has the eyes moving around. Yeah, you have to look it up. It's so funny.
Okay, I'll check out that video. On the topic of dragons were annoying before, but I've reached a level now where I can hack at dragons and kill them. And I don't know if it necessarily takes away from the game, but dragons I feel are a lot easier to take care of than I expected. Like, I'm close to level 20 now. I almost thought that I'd have to be, for example, like a level 30 or 40 to like really, really take down dragons. But especially because I've been grinding on different abilities and whatnot, dragons aren't as threatening as I expect them to be, especially for a game like this.
I mean, I'm sure after a while, you know, the enemy that you fear eventually becomes something that's easy to take down once you figure out how to take it down. Like, like Gyros.
Which, to be honest, I'm not really doing any real strategy to take them down, which is why I'm like, huh.
That's how Gyros is telling me about in Breath of the Wild, the Guardians, which are like one of the hardest enemies to defeat in the game because they can like one shot you. He doesn't mind killing them. Like he avoids them because they're a nuisance, but he figured out how to destroy them now. So he's just like, yeah, I'll take them like one-on-one. Let's go.
Yeah, and I've also exploited the system, so I know how to level up all my abilities in such a way. On top of that, in Skyrim, I'm starting to visit more cities, and I'm realizing how big the map is. I don't know how many goddamn cities are in here, but I see no end to this game.
Oh, yeah.
In all honesty, now that I'm expanding and now that more side quests are leading to more cities, it feels infinite, and I know that it's not in this game, but holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, Bethesda games are really good about doing that in general, like making the world feel really vast and open and like endless almost. Like honestly, all Bethesda games you could play forever and still not continue the main quest.
I haven't been doing the main quest for a while. I did finally train with the Dragonborns, but now I have to find a horn for the Greybeards that were on that mountain training me. And I don't know what this horn does, but the mission was I went to this city to get a horn, and this horn would complete like the final task of my training for Dragonborn. But what happened is I completed the dungeon and the horn was missing. And I got a note on the altar, the final basement of the dungeon, that says, "The horn's not here, meet me at this place." Oh. And after, I was like, oh, hell no. Are you kidding me? I'm not meeting you right now. I'm going to do my own thing. I was so mad. I was like, really? I just spent an hour in here.
I mean, like, you still got stuff. You still got a lot of stuff to do.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of random shit I'm doing. For example, like, I'm solving, like, a marriage. I'm
wow.
There's this woman at a bar in Riften, or not a bar, but like she's like an apothecary, I think, of some sort. And she slept with a few of the people in town, and they have like some of her like whatever like necklaces, I think, and I'm trying to collect all of them back. I'm doing like a lot of really random ass missions, and it's fun.
Very cool. I mean, like that it's endless almost in that sense where obviously the side missions will end. But like you can get a lot of mileage out of them by like, you know, taking your time.
Oh yeah, because I'm taking my time, I'm leveling up my abilities a lot. Not necessarily the level that I'm at with my character, but all the individual things that you can focus on. For example, blocking and one-handed swords.
Yeah, I saw your video.
And my restoration spells.
Nice.
Too.
Very
So
nice.
just getting better and stronger, getting more HP, magic, you name it. Stamina's kind of useless to me. So, but unless I don't know what the use of stamina is, to be honest, except for running.
Yeah.
Because like my stamina will drain while I'm attacking people, but like it doesn't really have an effect on anything.
Yeah.
Those are all my updates with Skyrim.
Awesome.
Yes.
I'm only playing Yakuza right now, so that's the only thing I can talk about at this moment.
And I'm playing Yakuza 2.
Yeah, we're both playing Yakuza.
What chapter are you on, by the way?
I'm in
Before we
I don't want
to.
Yeah. I'm in the middle of 5, and I don't want to spoil anything for our audience because I really want our audience to play.
I'm in the middle of 6.
Yeah, and I really want our audience to play this game, and I don't really want to talk about too much about the game because I think it's a really, really good RPG action brawler.
Okay.
Yeah,
this is not necessarily a spoiler, but it's weird. The current chapter I'm on, I'm not going to deny that there will be a connection. There might be a connection to the storyline. The current chapter that I'm on feels like a filler with the main characters.
Okay, so I think I have an answer for you as to why that is.
Yeah?
It's because the game, as you know, the game was built from the ground up and it was remade and redone in all aspects. And they wanted to add things that the original game did not have and add things...
Oh, so the original game didn't have 12 chapters then. Yeah,
it was much shorter because disk space, obviously, the PS2 discs couldn't take all the dialogue since these games are dialogue heavy.
Oh,
yeah, and they didn't have as many mini games as well. And so, with the inclusion of Blu-ray and bigger discs, they were able to pack everything into these.
That's interesting. Game. So this chapter that I'm on might actually be an add-in to the HD. It wasn't in the original.
Yeah, and also I think they kept the original script from the first game that was written by a different person, and so that filler, quote unquote filler chapter you're doing is probably written by someone else, and that's why it feels kind of out of place.
Yeah, not to say that I don't mind it. I think it's actually pretty fun. I'm just kind of shocked that it's actually part of the main storyline.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So let me know what you think when you get to chapter 6.
Will do.
Also.
Yeah.
So you passed a chapter where.
No spoilers. No spoilers to anyone.
No.
Okay.
So you passed a chapter where it introduces Haruka.
Yes, little girl Haruka.
And that dog.
Yeah, that dog. Oh my god, that scene where he catches the rock and throws it back.
That was amazing. You see, that's what I was waiting for when I texted you that one time. I was like, can you tell me when you get to the scene where you meet her? Because there's this hella random thing that happens. Yeah. Freaking. Also, it was so dramatic the way that Kiryu saved the dog.
I know.
And just steps in.
To be fair,
grabs that rock.
But to be fair though, that dog was getting the shit beat out of it, and I felt really bad. I was like, "Why are you guys doing that to a dog? Like, are you guys like really shitty human beings? Like, what the fuck?"
It was so cute too.
I know. I like how in the bar you could talk to it. It's like, I'm like, "Oh, it's okay."
But yeah. I know. And I swear to God, Haruka made us go everywhere to get some goddamn water for this dog.
I know. I had to get a plate.
Christ.
I had to go to Don Quixote and get a plate for 10 yen.
I know. It's like, can you get the paper plate? Like, really? Really? I have to go all the way there?
Can we bring the dog?
I know, because at this point, you're in the top right part of the map, and then Don Quixote is on the bottom left. And just like, Jesus Christ.
I know, right?
That was pretty, that was a pretty funny part of that chapter, though. The introduction chapter of her. Her storyline gets super spicy, and it's actually really, like, damn, I really wonder where this is gonna go.
I kind of know the backstory, because, I started...
You spoiled yourself!
No. I started watching the live-action Yakuza movie. Did you know there's a live-action Yakuza movie?
I did, but I haven't seen it.
I'll send you something later.
Yeah,
That's all I'm gonna tell
I
you.
know that it exists, and I've
Yeah.
seen the screenshots, but I haven't actually watched it before.
I'm writing an article on the blog right now about it, and
Okay.
right now the movie I'm trying to coincide the movie with where I'm playing. So I'm not trying to spoil
okay.
anything for myself, but they kind of spoil a little bit of her backstory, but I don't
Got
know
it.
everything yet. I don't know everything. So
Okay.
yeah, the movie is pretty solid right now, and it does feel like I'm playing the game a little bit, and it makes you
Okay.
want to play the game. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah, sorry to digress, but going back to the game, yeah, I like the story so far. Honestly, like the Yakuza games have really, really solid stories, and this
They do.
and for a lot of people, it's gonna be like a Dynasty Warriors where the combat's the same, you're doing the same things, you're seeing the same people. But for me, it's kind of like a drama where I get the next episode in this drama and I get to see what happens next to these characters because I really like these characters. I love these characters, and I just I want the best for
Like,
them.
I know, and this game is primarily cutscenes and screenshots. I'm not cutscenes and screenshots. This game is primarily cutscenes and movies.
And dialogue,
So,
it's
yeah.
extremely dialogue heavy, and I love that.
It really does feel like an episode. It is like an episode. It shows like chapters.
Yeah, it's like the next movie in the series almost.
Yeah.
And what I love about it too is that when the first Yakuza game came out in 2005, it was the only game of its kind at the time. Like it was super dialogue heavy, a lot of cutscenes, and
Yeah.
it showed like Japan as it was at the time. Like there was no other game that showed you like a very detailed version of Japan. Like you know, like because there's no Grand Theft Auto Japan. That was like the closest thing we got. So I think that's really cool how the series survived this long and
I know.
into the West
And has this much success.
Oh yeah, and especially to a Western audience because this game is geared towards a Japanese audience, and so the creator of the series was saying like he was so surprised that Western audiences like this game because it's supposed to be for a Japanese audience only, but Japanese people will only understand some of the cultures and customs that this game presents itself as, but they do their best to translate it so that we can understand it too. But since you and I have been to Japan, Alyssa, I think we have a better grasp of it.
That's a good point to why we enjoy the story a lot. I also think, like what you said, this is just a really good story. It's very riveting. It's very powerful, and it shows, of course, Kiryu in a light that's both like, yeah, you're a Yakuza, and technically you're in a gang, and that's bad, but there's aspects of him that are human and that are good. So I like how it walks this fine line between him and his morals, and I think that's what makes the story really exciting.
Yeah, no, I it's so cool. Like I don't know if you met the fortune teller in Yakuza 0. Did you talk to that lady?
So I haven't met the fortune teller in Yakuza 0, but I have met the hand reader in Kiwami as a sub story.
It's kind of funny. Because in Yakuza 0, when you meet the fortune teller, she'll tell you your future, like the future of Kiryu in future games. In Yakuza 1, 2.
Really?
Yeah, it's really funny. She's like, you're gonna be taking care of 9 kids, and you're gonna meet a little girl on the street with a dog. He's like, what are you talking about? Like, you're crazy. And I'm like,
it all makes sense.
yeah, and then I was like, yeah, this lady's like pulling out like shit from her ass and just shoving it in Kiryu's mouth. But holy shit, like she's telling his future of the games. I was like, oh my
I
god,
know.
mind blown, dude. It's
9 kids.
That part I don't even know.
Oh, goodness
But
gracious.
that
There's
sounds-
9 more kids in this
Hey,
series.
I'm just saying, Kiryu's a good looking man. He could, he's got good genes.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
So
And he's only like in his like mid 30s at this point.
he's
I think.
37 in this
37.
game. Yeah.
For sure.
So funny side fact. I was playing this game with our mutual friend Yuri, Alyssa,
Mm-hmm.
and she's from Osaka. And so, as you know, Majima's from Osaka as well. And
Correct.
I was playing a scene where I was about to fight Majima because the Majima everywhere mechanic, and he was speaking, and she's like, "What the hell? Like, he has like a weird accent." I'm like, "What do you mean? Like, isn't that the Kansai accent? Like the Osaka Kansai accent?" She's like, "No, it's not. It's like they hired a guy from Tokyo to pretend to be someone from Osaka." And he's like, "What the heck is this?" I'm like, "Oh man, I don't even know. I'm just playing the game."
Oh.
So it was really interesting to get that perspective of like the kind of actors they use, because some American actors have British accents, or like have play characters that have British accents, and to us it may seem like, oh yeah, that's what a British accent should sound like, but to British people they may be like what is this, like why are you trying to pretend to be British? Whereas it's just kind of funny because like when you're playing a video game you don't really think about that stuff either, but when to have a native speaker listen to like someone trying to speak their native dialect, it gets to the point where you're like, oh, it puts perspective into the characters and maybe the mind of the producers and developers of the game.
That's really, I honestly didn't think about that. In fact, it actually slipped my mind a bit that they would make Majima have a Kansai accent. I just completely forgot about that.
Yeah. I actually I thought about it a lot because of the way he's like would say words, like in Japanese, for example, Kiri would say like nande, which means like what?
Yeah.
And then Majima would say nayan, which means what, but with a Kansai accent. And the hearing the
You're
two
right.
speak.
I did notice that.
Yeah. After a while, the both of us, we didn't really care because we were just playing the game and we were so enveloped in the story and trying to listen to what they were saying that it just like slipped our minds. But yeah, like he had a really thick Kansai accent in Yakuza 0 and of course in Yakuza Kiwami, but when I talked to Yuri about it, she's like that's not Osaka Ben at all. Like it's just fake. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool that she could determine that or decipher that.
Yeah, that is really cool. Speaking of Majima, holy crap. When they say Majima everywhere, Majima is actually everywhere in this game.
Oh my god. Oh, it's
holy
so
crap.
crazy. Okay.
It's actually it's actually really, like, it's really hilarious to me.
Yes.
Oh my god, there's so many random like for one, he was a cop.
Yep.
I was like, Majima, what the fuck are you doing right now?
Yeah. And he would frisk you too. I'm like, what the?
I know. And then like the first times I actually didn't have a weapon on me, so I didn't engage in battle. And every time I just happened to pass by him, Kiryu was just like, "What?"
Yeah. He's like, "What do you want?"
Like, what could you possibly want right now?
For real.
And
though.
I thought that was like that was freaking hilarious. And then, oh my god, the stupid bar.
Oh yeah.
I got to that part.
Yeah. He's like, the guy's like, yeah, come try the new bar. I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you thought it was a random sub story, right?
Yeah. I was like, I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah.
And then and then all of a sudden you ask for a drink and this fucking Majima is right in front of you, and all of a sudden he's a bartender. Like, where did you come from?
But I gotta say, I missed him wearing the tuxedo like that, because that's what he wore in the previous game. It's gonna get crazier. Like, have you ever done the hostess clubs yet? Those
no,
like,
I haven't.
minigames?
I
Okay.
haven't yet. I've actually I'm like hoping I can walk into a hostess club and it's exactly the same thing as Yakuza 0, where I'm managing my own hostess club.
I did one, and you're not managing it. You're actually a
Damn.
customer, and yeah, you have to pay a lot of money, just like in real life. I've never been to a hostess club in real life, but they make you pay a lot of money, and I'm like, dang, is this what it's like in real life?
If you think about it, in your hostess club in 0, some people will pay like over 1 million yen or like 3 million yen at a time,
which is around like $3,000.
I want to play the hostess club again.
You should go. You should go.
That was so fun. I might play 0 after this.
yeah, I know. I actually went back to 0 yesterday with my friend. And we played pool.
Yeah. It really crossed my mind in the middle of Kiwami if I should 100% 0. I don't know yet, though.
I'm almost there, but there's a lot of stuff I have to do that's kind of challenging to get.
Yeah.
So
we'll see. We'll see how I feel.
Yeah, same here. Same.
I know.
What's
also?
Go ahead.
Oh, what's up?
I was gonna say, well, I want you to finish your thought, and then I'll ask you like another question related to Kiwami.
Oh, okay, everyone. Pocket Circuit Racer Guy's back. It's like the best. It's the best thing ever. I straight up, like, when I found out he was back in the game, I almost cried. I was like, this guy's back. Like, this is amazing. It was like the best discovery. All of the little things that they added from 0 are really, really cool.
The only gripe I have is that they don't have Outrun and Space Harrier from Zero, like the classic Sega games. Like, you can't play those.
I actually haven't been to the arcade yet.
I have.
So,
and there's a card game you can play with this little kid, and it's basically like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon.
oh.
And I won't spoil it. I won't spoil it, but you're gonna be like,
So
what the fuck
really
am I
is
playing?
like based in like the 2000s.
It is. And
Okay.
when you play the game, when you play the card game, you're gonna be like, what the fuck am I playing? Like, literally, you're gonna be in a
Okay.
weird way. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but I want you to try it.
Okay.
And then I want you to text
Got
me
it.
like, what the fuck is this?
Okay. Sounds good. By the way, is there dancing in this game? I walked into the club and I did a sub story to help a girl out at the club, but is there an actual like club game?
No.
Oh, guys, Sega, come on.
That was
What
only in
is-
the other one because they had disco.
Oh my god. You can club here.
I know.
Sega, I'm very disappointed right now. This is unacceptable and you are disappointing a lot of fans right now.
I am disappointed.
Yes.
But I was gonna ask you, like, what's your favorite minigame so far in Yakuza Kiwami?
Oh, it's clearly karaoke. Karaoke has always been my favorite minigame in Zero, and it still is my favorite minigame in Kiwami. And I appreciate all of the remixes of the games, or of the previous songs, as well as some of the new stuff.
Because the remixes are like of the time. I was like, oh my god, this
I
song
know.
sounds like it's from 2005. Like, what?
Yeah. And Bakamitai has an acoustic flair to it.
Number one song in karaoke, Bakamitai.
Number one song in karaoke.
Which
exactly.
which translates to English as I am foolish. What happened was the first song I went to was Bakamitai, because I wanted to play karaoke again because I like it too. It's not my favorite one. My favorite is actually Pool, and I'll kind of talk about that later. But I wanted to do karaoke, and so I did Bakamitai, and I was expecting like the cutscene where he's like in the bar alone, like saying Bakamitai. I was like, oh my god, I want to hear that. And so when it faded to white and showed him, he's like in the bar alone. I was like, oh yeah, what's the picture gonna be? I was like, holy shit, that's Pocket Circuit Fighter and Kiryu, and they're like arm in arm. I was like, oh man, that's pretty cool, because it was like a screenshot from Zero.
That was so. I don't even know. I loved it though.
Yeah, it was so great.
I don't even, but it was amazing. That's all I have to say.
Oh yeah, no, totally. So then after that, I went outside and I went to Theater Square and I saw these two little kids like, oh, we should go Pocket Circuit racing. I'm like, oh yeah, they still have this back in the game. And so I went to the Pocket Circuit Stadium and I hear like, yo, or whatever he said. And I turned, I'm like, oh my god, it's Pocket Circuit Fighter. He's here. So it was a 2-for-1 punch. Like, I got to see the karaoke with the old picture and then I saw him. I'm like, yo, the feels.
So what happened was, remember when I texted you that I ran into him outside of the Pocket Circuit Racing stadium? And you know how you told me to go karaoke after?
Yeah.
So I actually I ended up going karaokeing after.
Oh, wait, in real life?
And no, in the game.
Okay.
And that's how I discovered that, and that's how I discovered the picture. And I was like, this bitch, oh my god.
You're like,
This fucking Pocket Racer guy is everywhere. I'm honestly, I'm hoping there's more. I really hope there's much more to do. I haven't tried Pocket Racing yet, which I will try, and I want to, I'll try the Hostess Club, and I'll see if I like it or not, but It seems too expensive, especially how you get much less money from defeating goons and thugs. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. One thing to say about the Pocket Circuit Racing, remember that screenshot I sent you of Kiwi saying like, hey, yeah, that was awkward, and he's like smiling?
Yeah.
That relates to the Pocket Circuit story that I'm not going to tell you about, but I will tell you.
Did you finish it already?
I did not finish it because there's a part that I can't beat. Rather, a person that I can't beat. And actually, that whole like story is really nostalgic. Like, for people who played Zero, especially you and I felt really nostalgic playing it because of certain things that happen. I won't say what to you because I don't want to spoil it for you, but you're gonna smile when it happens.
Aww.
Yeah, you're like, aww. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just yeah. Pocket Circuit's awesome. I think pool's my number one because I don't feel like going out and playing pool at a bar because I have to pay $1.50, and I think that's stupid. And I can just play it for free on my PS4 by myself, sadly alone. drinking a beer.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I laugh, but I'm crying now. I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, pool's awesome because it feels like actual pool. And but my second favorite is probably Pocket Circuit Racing because it's fun to customize your car and just like race.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it so far.
Yeah. I want to try darts at some point.
Oh, darts are so hard.
Yeah. I'm curious about that, so I will check that out soon.
For sure. That's all I have to say about Yakuza right now.
Yeah, once again still fun. I think my next goal is the next time we talk. Well, next week we're not going to talk about Yakuza, but the next time we do talk about it, I want to be close to finishing the game.
Oh man. Okay. I don't know if I'll be there yet either. Like, we might have to
then
hold
I'll
up.
wait. Tell me where you think you're gonna be, and then that's what I'll do. And then I'll just play Cabaret Club at Yakuza 0.
Okay. Because okay, yeah. I think I might just get up to 7 or 8 because because next weekend I'm shooting that thing, and I'll be busy like translating it and like editing it, so I don't think I'll be able to get to it for a little while.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, you might just plan ahead of time to play the Cabaret. I even say get up to like 7 or 8 for you, Alyssa, and then we could be on the same page and talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry that you won't be able to finish it.
It's all good. The chapters are a lot shorter anyway, so it's actually a lot easier to digest and get through.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I can just find Majima and level up and be a monster by the final battle, so it's all good.
Yeah. No, seriously though. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was in 0. I was so leveled up that it was like a really awesome battle at the end.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it. If I could just play all bosses in Yakuza 0, I'd totally do it again.
I know, they were so epic.
Oh shit.
I guess that's so this is my final note about Yakuza. To a degree, I think that the lead up of the boss battles in 0 are more epic.
Yeah.
Granted, I'm only on chapter 6, so we'll see what happens. There's less boss battles where it's singly just one person you're fighting against.
Yeah. Either like a big boss or a mini boss.
Yeah. But it's all good for now.
Yeah. I really like the story and I like the gameplay of Kiwami right now. I miss the old Sega games because I grew up on a Genesis, and just seeing Sega games is really nostalgic for me. But I did see Sonic the Hedgehog in the arcades. I was on like posters and like decals.
Yeah, I'll check it out soon.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's cool. And also the when you earn CP and you can get those upgrades from Bob Utsunomiya.
Mhm.
You know where Bob is, right, in the beginning?
Yeah, he's at the bottom of the map.
Yeah, at the gate. Also, I don't even know the story behind him. He's just there and he gives you free shit. And I'm like, okay.
No, I think that's all I know too.
But I just wonder, like, why is he dressed like a clown? Like, why does he have to look like that?
Because
weird.
It adds flavor.
Yeah, that's true. But some of the upgrades are called Gotta Go Fast, and that's obviously a reference to Sonic.
I see.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to move on to news? Gaming news?
Yeah. So we have some quick gaming news for you today. 2 days ago, Nintendo Direct happened, and a lot of games that I would have just never expected to be on Switch are coming out on Switch. And it's kind of blowing my mind how they've really expanded and are including all these new games.
Yeah, one of them was NBA 2K18.
One of them is, I think, WWE 2K18 as well.
Yeah, that means Nintendo's really pushing it with their hardware, which is awesome because it's about time they get not serious games, because obviously a lot of games are serious games, but like more mainstream games that people are
mainstream games, but still you can play against other people and and versus them in some manner.
Yes, exactly.
There's actually a Resident Evil game coming out on the Nintendo Switch.
Is it
Did you see that?
Revelations?
Yeah.
I actually own that on the 3DS, and it's actually a really solid Resident Evil game.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think I even saw that freaking if Skyrim isn't on enough platforms, Skyrim's now also coming to Switch.
Yeah. I'm groaning not because I hate Skyrim. I'm groaning because Bethesda keeps remaking and rehashing Skyrim on every console ever. It's basically Skyrim to them is Resident Evil 4 to Capcom because Resident Evil 4 is literally on every console since the GameCube. It doesn't make any sense. It's like, why? Why do you have to keep doing this? Okay. Yeah, okay. I mean, it was in the trailer, to be honest. Skyrim was in the trailer for the Switch before it came out. So, I'm not really surprised that it got officially announced.
Yeah, but still, there's a lot of fucking Skyrim to spread around.
Yeah, in different versions, Legendary Edition, whatever. Like, come on. Whatever. I'm gonna buy it eventually, guys. I'll buy it and play it. I'll mod it so hard that it'll only be Thomas the Tank Engine dragons flying around.
The one game that interested me on this list, I don't plan on getting a Switch actually. At least like not for the next 2 years. Mm-hmm. I don't plan on getting a Switch. But Xenoblade Chronicles 2 interested me because I've actually never played that one.
I don't even know the series. I just know that the main character is Shulk. Is that correct?
I think so.
Because he's a character in Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, because I read when the first Xenoblade came out, and I think in like 2009 or something like that, I was reading the description and watching a few videos on it, and it's a JRPG that interests me, that I've always wanted to try, but it was on Wii before. Right. I just never had a chance to play it. And of course, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is coming out on the Switch, but I'll probably watch some videos on it because it does look interesting to me.
Yeah. It looks like a cool franchise. I've never played any of the games, but if they remaster it or like port it to the Switch or whatever console that I own that's Nintendo based, I think I'll try to play it.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember Shulk has a lot of quotes in Super Smash Brothers on the what is it, New Super Smash Brothers? Whatever, Super Smash Brothers, Wii U and 3DS, and he's like, I'm really feeling it, and my cousins and I would joke around and just say that to each other, like, I'm really feeling it. So that's all I remember about Shulk, is that he has yellow hair, he has a giant pink or purple sword, and he says, I'm really feeling it. With a British accent. I'm like, all right.
And he has like a red armor suit, right?
That's right.
He is the main hero of the game.
Yeah, he is. And also in the Nintendo Direct, they showed the Super Mario Odyssey trailer, another trailer.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And they had Mario shirtless running on the beach, and he had nipples. It was weird. They showed his nipples.
I saw that too. That was nipples.
They were staring at me, his nipples.
They were staring at you. How did that make you feel?
It made me feel weird, actually. I don't want to do that ever. I don't want to look at it ever again.
And you don't have to.
Thanks, Doc. No, but like you, but like you, I don't think I'll buy a Switch for another year or two, at least until they release the next version of the Switch.
Yeah,
because I already know they're gonna make one with a bigger screen or whatever.
Yeah, for me, I just don't want to spend money on a new console at the moment. That's all. Yeah,
it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
Buying a new system is not really in my budget right now. I'm kind of happy with what I have.
Same.
Do you want to talk about Okami HD?
Yeah. So Okami HD is coming out in, I think, December, and I don't think I'm going to get it immediately, but I will get it at some point and replay Okami. And I suggest, if you've never played Okami before, to definitely play it, especially if you're into like an incredibly stylized game. It's a watercolor based game, and it's about Amaterasu, the fox god, or wolf god.
Mm-hmm.
And it's already beautiful as it is on PlayStation 2, and I just know it's gonna be even more amazing in its HD remake. So if you've been wanting to play it for some time, wait for this December one to come out.
Is it gonna be 1080p 60 frames per second?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay, just wondering because it seems like a lot of games that are remade or redone for PS4 have like upped the frame rate, which is good. Like the Yakuza 0 and Yakuza Kiwami have extremely fast frame rates. Well, 60 frames is like it's not that fast, but it's like the standard, I guess now. Which kind of is interesting because Yakuza Kiwami 2 is going to be remade in the Dragon engine, which is the same engine they're using to make with 6, but it doesn't have 60 frames per second because they had to put so much more detail in it. So at the cost of having more detail, they had to reduce their frame rate.
I see.
Which is fine by me, but it's just going to be interesting to have Yakuza Kiwami 1 like 60 frames per second, 1080p, and then Yakuza Kiwami 2, 1080p, 30 frames per second. But whatever, it's fine. I'll still play it. I don't really have a big preference on frame rate. It's an interesting like topic when it comes to like remakes, remasters.
I'm seeing this HD re-release article, and it's going to be in 4K and widescreen.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
How much is the game gonna run for? Do you know?
Oh man. Everyone, this is why you need to buy the game. It's only going to be $20. I mean, it is going to be so worth it for $20. And the game is like longer than 20 hours.
I mean, honestly, that's a really good deal. And that's why I like
it is an incredible good deal.
Yeah, and that's why
I am like super advocating this.
Yeah, no, that's how I felt about Kiwami. When I realized it was only $30, I was really advocating it. Like, yeah, the story isn't as long as Zero's, but there's still a lot of content in the game that you'll get more than 30 hours out of.
I want to say you'll get at least like 40 hours from this game, and you'll get a gorgeous, like absolutely gorgeous game and a really wonderful story too, if that's what you like in video games.
I haven't played it actually. I played it at a Best Buy. Does that count?
No, Jeremy.
Oh, damn. Okay. Well, I wanna play it for real then, not at a Best Buy. I'll buy it for $20 and I'll play it.
No. It does not count at Best Buy.
Dang. Well, shoot.
Well, shoot.
I played Halo at CompUSA. I think I talked about this before. Does that count that I played Halo? Probably not.
I'm just being mean right now.
It's okay. It's okay. I can taste the vinegar. Yeah.
Vinegar.
It's not salt. It's not salt.
It's the opposite of salt.
Exactly. It's sour-ish. Yeah. So I think we could touch on a more sensitive topic that we kind of both agreed to talk about.
Oh yeah.
I just want to preface this before and say that we should try our best not to give our personal opinions on what the matter should be. More of a let's play devil's advocate and talk about both sides on a professional level, if anything.
All right, I'm totally down for that.
Yeah.
You can introduce us to the topic.
So on September 10th, 2017, that would be last Sunday.
Do you know the time?
I do not know the time. I do not know the time.
I was surprised you know the date.
I just remember because the news came out that Monday, and I was like, what happened the day before? Because I don't really follow.
Oh, okay.
So, PewDiePie, the biggest YouTuber in the entire world.
Which, by the way, I didn't know he was the biggest YouTuber in the world.
Yeah.
No, I knew he was popular,
Yeah,
and I knew he was a popular live streamer. I just never knew he was that popular. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah. He has 57 million subscribers, over like 1 billion views on YouTube. And as you know, or if you may or may not know, when you reach a certain subscriber count on YouTube, YouTube will send you a plaque with your channel name and like a gold, silver, or bronze, I think. Like
that's actually kind of cool.
It's called a play button. It's the YouTube logo, but like in like a gold, silver, bronze color.
Got it.
In a glass case, which is kind of cool too. That you can hang on your wall. PewDiePie has the only one, I think it's a platinum or ruby version of that, and it's the only one in existence because they had to create it specifically for him because he reached 50 million subscribers.
Holy crap. Okay.
Yeah. So he has that. Anyways, I digress. So PewDiePie on Sunday was live streaming a game called PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which is basically think H1Z1 meets Battle Royale meets DayZ. So DayZ and H1Z1 and the War Z are all like very similar games, survival horror games.
Okay.
But they for H1Z1 they included this mode called Battle Royale, and it's exactly that. It's based on the Japanese movie Battle Royale, where you get dropped into a location like an island or something, and you're forced to kill the other players. And so this game called PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is exactly that. You're dropped into an island with 100 players, and you have to kill each other until the last man standing. So PewDiePie was playing this game, and he was with his friends, and you could do team battles where a team has to you get with like 3 other people, and then you have to like battle other teams. It's still 100 players on the map. So PewDiePie was playing this game, and he uttered some very derogatory words, specifically the N-word, on live on Twitch in front of like 7 million people or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And when he did that, this caused a big uproar in the gaming community, specifically with a developer called Campo Santo. That's the name of the studio. They're actually based in San Francisco, and they made the game Firewatch.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the CEO of this company, I forget his name, Sean something, he tweeted out that he thought PewDiePie was a child, and he thought that children like him should not be making money from these games. And this started this whole like discussion as to whether, is it okay for these gamers to be streaming these games and talking about, saying whatever they want about it, or not saying whatever they want, like using foul language when playing these games.
Oh, you know what? Now that I have the context that that company is based in San Francisco, that makes more sense to me.
Yeah. So there are some touch points I want to like kind of highlight, which are PewDiePie is not from the U.S. Of course, he very well knows that this word has a lot of meaning behind it, and he shouldn't have said that in the first place. And it sounds like it wasn't the first time he said it either. Like he said it very like naturally. And he said it with a hard R at the end. He didn't say it with the A at the end. He said it with a hard R. And that's the one that has a lot of like meaning to it, and that it goes back hundreds of years, to a time when our country was not as developed as it is now.
Yes.
So I just want to point that out, that he's not from the US. I'm not taking his side. I'm just giving a point to say that he was well aware of the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
But he still said it anyways. I mean, the counter argument to that is like, yeah, he was playing a game. He was in an intense firefight with another player, and when you're playing a game, you don't really think about what you're saying, and you just blurt out words, stuff that comes to your mind. Like when I play a game, I was like, oh fuck, shit, I just play and I say whatever. Like I'll say some stupid shit sometimes, and usually no one's around, thankfully. But yeah, so. There's that too. There's that in the fire. What do you think about that so far, Alyssa?
All right. There's actually a few points that I want to touch on this. And I guess I'll start off with this one. First one being that not directly related with PewDiePie, but just online multiplaying in general. There is a very good reason why I don't go online a lot when I play games. And I think that the crowd that and not to generalize everyone, because of course obviously not everyone is like this, but a lot of people though who play online are pretty offensive.
Yeah.
And whether or not they say like actual derogatory words, or whether or not they're like cursing your mom to die, or like really like crazy things, I'm just kind of like, oh god, I'm gonna stick to my single campaign because this is kind of weird.
Yeah.
So this is like a culture that's kind of been created with online multiplaying, where because you're anonymous, so to speak, and because you're not directly next to that person, you can say whatever the hell you want. And it's been perpetuated like that, not just in gaming, but in general. Like, that's just the feeling of the internet. You have anonymity that protects you, for the most part.
It's true. Yeah, I mean, you look at these like 12-year-olds playing Call of Duty, or like or even playing. I think the most toxic community would probably be, in my personal experience, would probably be League of Legends. Like, people on there could be extremely mean to each other. Like,
yes,
even for doing the stupidest things.
I absolutely agree with that.
It's like, why the fuck are you doing jungle? Like, you should be down mid. Like, why are you doing that? It's like, yo, like, just communicate with each other. Like, why do you have to be mean about it? Just be nice. And like, like you said, they can say that without remorse because they don't know who you are and you don't know who they are. So you could say whatever you want to them, and if they get butthurt, like, you may never ever see them again.
Exactly. And that's just the type of culture that the internet has created, henceforth what online gaming has created.
Yeah, it's a byproduct of both.
Yes.
And it sucks because there are nice people on the internet. There are, but
yes,
they're too few and
I've
far.
actually met, like, for example, I don't know why. So sorry to digress, but Grand Theft Auto Online has some really awesome people. Like, of all the games that I've ever played online, that one in particular, like, wow, all of you people are kind of cool. Like, I'm surprised that that a game like Grand Theft Auto isn't, like, creating much more meaner people. But it's like there are, like, a lot of people who don't do that online.
Well, are you talking about PS4 online or PC online?
But well, technically,
for Grand Theft Auto Online specifically,
PlayStation.
Okay, because in my experience, I've met a lot of hackers. I've met a lot of mean people because they could do whatever they want on PC since it's easily moddable. So I've actually seen the other side of that coin. On PS4, I understand that it's a little bit laxer, and because people can't mod it and people can't hack into it because it's a console game. For the PC version of the game, people like hack it, and like there are like empty servers where there's just one guy, and I enter into the server and he like immediately kills me with an explosion in my safe house. Like how?
That makes a lot of sense. I know that a lot of people like to hack PC games and online games on purpose just to get other people in trouble and banned as well.
Yeah, it happens. So like they'll shove like $10 million into your account, and you're like, okay, I have a lot of money now, and then it'll say that you've been banned because you have too much money in your account for an undisclosed reason. Like, you suddenly had this amount of money in your account. How did you do that, or whatever? Yeah. So, yeah. I see more of the negative side since I play primarily PC games, but since I've gotten to the console,
since I don't play primarily, for sure. I guess console is like a different horse then, because obviously there are a lot of games where you do experience like the much more louder offensive people, but there's actually like a lot of games in my experience on console where I'm like, oh, you're not that bad.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you had a positive experience.
Yeah. I guess I just pick and choose now, because I'm like, oh god, I'm not dealing with this kid is how I feel. Half the time. And it's why I play with friends majority of the time.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think it's more fun playing with friends since you guys can all communicate with each other. You already know who they are in person, and if someone screws you over, it's a joke and it's not something that's like a hate crime, I guess, in a video game.
Yeah, exactly.
Going back to the topic of the PewDiePie issue, I want to talk about the developer Campo Santo that pulled they basically what they did with the PewDiePie was they pulled a DMC takedown on all of his Firewatch videos, because they felt as though him using this profane language was not good enough. And like you said, they're a San Francisco based company. We work in San Francisco. We live in the Bay Area.
It is a very diverse area.
Yeah, and a lot of people are sensitive to these topics and have very strong opinions on them.
Yes,
it's a very left city, a very blue city, if you will.
Definitely.
So I want to talk about two things about the developer that I think there are two arguments to this, and they're both very valid. The first is that a lot of people feel as though Campo Santo is being childish and that they shouldn't have taken down the DMCA videos because the reason why Firewatch is so successful is because YouTubers like PewDiePie are the ones that are promoting the game through their channels. They're playing the game on their channel. You see that game, and it makes you want to play it too. You want to have your own experience in a way after seeing another, like a really famous YouTuber play this game, and it makes you want to buy the game and play it and experience it yourself. And there's one thing watching something, but there's another thing actually playing it with your own two hands. And the counter argument to that is, yes, they did they should have done not should have they did a good job in taking down the videos because what PewDiePie did was wrong. Like he really shouldn't have said those words, and he knew he was saying a bad word. And when he said it, like immediately after, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, but really you're a piece of shit or whatever. He said something along those lines, and yeah, I mean there are people that believe that Camposanto did do the right thing and take down the videos. So I mean, honestly, go ahead.
Finish your thought.
Honestly, like there are two sides to the argument. Both are very valid and have a lot of strong evidence.
Yeah.
I want to hear what you wanted to say.
So I'm just gonna say it's absolutely normal for a company to pull their endorsements from any type of celebrity or anything if they did something and they feel like that incident will affect the product and brand because they are promoting it. And I think from that business standpoint, that makes a lot of sense because yes, although PewDiePie was streaming, he has a lot of viewers, he got a lot of people interested. Like I guess the one incident that first comes to mind right now is if you remember Ryan Lochte from the Olympics last year, he had an incident where he faked being robbed at a convenience store in Rio, and he played off this story about how how bad it was, how affected he was, and it turns out he lied about the entire incident. And in fact, it turned out that he vandalized the store. If you do something controversial and it causes the media to question you, then I mean, and I can't say much because I don't know what's on the contract, but there has to be something in the contract that says, at the discretion of the company, you can be pulled at any point if you mess something up. Yeah.
And there's a lot of, going back to the PewDiePie thing and kind of relating it and tying it all together, there's, it is perfectly legal if Camposanto pulled their game pulled the videos from, PewDiePie's, his backlog because it's their property. Like they can honestly say and do whatever they want with it, but on the flip side of that, on their website they say yes, you can stream this game and make money from it. We highly encourage you to do that. And so it's like, which side will you stand on in this issue? Because honestly, it'll determine the future of streaming and the future of video games.
Yeah.
As a whole. So.
Oh, I get what you mean. So they're saying on their website you can stream however you want.
Yeah, they say you can stream it and make money from it.
Okay, got it.
Which I don't know if PewDiePie streamed it, but he did make videos of it, and so that was okay by Camposanto's standards. But then they're pulling the games now because they're saying that they don't agree with his mindset, I guess.
I see.
Yeah. And this isn't, to be fair, also, this isn't the first time PewDiePie has done this. PewDiePie used to used to network with Maker Studios, and Maker's owned by Disney. And so what happened was, I think it was
I heard about this one.
Yeah, like he had people hold up a sign that said like "Death to Jews" or something, like something very anti-Semitic. And and Disney saw this and pulled him from their lineup and was like, "No, you're out of here." So now he's not part of a network right now. He's a free agent technically, but he's still making a lot of money.
I think in regards to that, actually, I think that covers a different topic.
Yeah, no, it's a whole different issue. I just wanted to point out that this isn't the first time that PewDiePie has been in the spotlight. He's like the most watched YouTuber in the entire world. Like obviously there's a spotlight on him like 24/7 almost.
Yeah.
And if it was any other streamer or YouTuber that said that, like no one would care. But because PewDiePie has like everything almost riding on his shoulders, the decisions he makes are gonna affect the future.
Definitely. And I guess that's a I always say this, but if you choose to be if you're a celebrity, you chose to be a celebrity to an extent, meaning that you kind of accept the risks and you accept what would happen if you do something wrong. And I'll go on this end that if you're a public figure who's the most popular public figure on YouTube, there is an extent to you have to choose carefully what you say.
Yes, exactly.
And like obviously we see in the US how that like it affects a lot of celebrities. Like a lot of celebrities will say some dumb shit and they're blasted almost immediately for it.
Yeah.
So to me, I mean, that's kind of the risks you expect as like a US person. But like you said in the beginning, he's Swedish, right?
Yeah, and he was streaming from Sweden.
Yeah. So I think that whatever happens, he should. So there's actually two sides of this now. You're either upheld to the standard of a Swedish celebrity and what that means for him. And so he shouldn't get that much flack. But then you can also take the side that because you broadcast on YouTube, you are a global celebrity, which means that you have to consider all entities.
Yeah, and again, your decisions will affect the world and the future of media, new media specifically. So, watch what you say. Yeah, that's all I wanted to touch on. I just wanted to address this topic since it's very relevant to us, and especially since we do this little podcast and we voice our thoughts and opinions, and I just wanted to put a very neutral perspective into the whole thing.
I'm going to end this with another perspective and kind of see and I guess maybe challenge some people and viewers. So I guess I'll preface this as I come from a very diverse like community, like a very diverse state. Like California is like a melting pot of a lot of different cultures, and it's because of that I learned about the history of like some words. I've learned about the background of some things, and I know a lot of context more than say a lot of other people from different states who would not necessarily get this because they're not as liberal.
Yeah.
And I guess what I have to say is part of the argument was that he accidentally said the word, and and that not only did he accidentally say the word, but a lot of people will just say the word and other derogatory terms. So what I'll say is that for me, like that word never comes to mind as something I would say just because of the way that I was raised, as well as other derogatory terms that a lot of people use in gaming. Like that, like I feel like there's not really like I accidentally said this, because to be honest, I actually think it depending, and this goes back to like your background and what you grew up with, but I find it really easy to not say those words.
Yeah.
And going off of the fact that he is a Swedish celebrity, yes, he is a Swedish celebrity, so there is a standard to be upheld by his own country, but there is an acceptance that when you go global that you should follow too. So I guess the way that I will end my stance on it is really it's all just about education and just kind of like learning about other cultures. And like the world likes to have witch hunts, and there's, to an extent, sometimes the witch hunting is successful and it does garner attention and all of these different things, but witch hunting does not necessarily solve the problem and solve the core issue. So I'm always a fan of, if you don't understand something, then, there should just be a conversation about it, and you should Google and do all of these things. If someone tells you that they're offended by something, then you shouldn't have to ask them, oh, I don't understand why you're offended by this. Like, because you will not know that person's background or their context.
Exactly.
So really, yes, PewDiePie, like he did say the N-word, and sure, it happens a lot in gaming, but I guess it's just because I'm like, from my background, I can say this, but I think we just need to have like more constructive discussions, really.
Yeah. No, I agree. And to kind of add to that, do you want to finish, or did you finish?
Nope, that's it.
Okay.
That's all I really have to say.
To add to that, honestly, just pick a different word, dude. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of bad words you could say in your mind. Just nothing racially specific. Like, can you just say something like shit or fuck or something? You know, like, why do you have to say that word?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why that word came to his mind when he was
Definitely.
playing, but I agree with all your points, Alyssa. But another just something I want to add on, honestly, is just pick a different word. If you know you're gonna be
really.
live streamed, in your mind, mentally prepare and just say, I'm gonna say these words and cuss them out loud. And
I totally
either in a
totally
funny,
agree with
like
that.
if you're a comedian, then sure, say it in a funny way. And if you really get frustrated, like just say the F word. Like how bad could that be? Like the worst case scenario is like some kid's mom is gonna like hear it while you're watching it and be like, oh, what are you watching? Don't watch that guy. But if you say the N word and that kid happens to be African American, then wow, that's a little bit worse, you know? Then the mom will be really mad.
I 100% agree. And that's like why I made that point about how it's like not difficult at all for me to not say those words. I just choose just different words come to mind. Like I don't have a pressing need to say the N word or the derogatory word for gay people or for people with physical disability. Like straight up, like those are just not the words that come to mind at all.
To kind of end this in a way, Alyssa, what are your top 3 favorite curse words to say when you're playing a video game? I'll start with mine.
Okay.
Mine are stupid though. So one of my favorite, the number one phrase I say the most is like "fuck me." I just say that. I say that all the time. The second one is probably like just slap my ass. This is the other one.
Slap my ass.
Yeah,
So
I told you it's weird. It's really weird. And then the third one I say the most. This because there's quite a few. The third one I say the most is like, I don't know if I should say it out loud because it's kind of gross.
Oh God.
I don't know if I want to say it out loud. I'll just say 2 for now because the third one's actually kind of nasty.
Oh God.
Sorry.
So I think I always say fuck and shit as just like words of endearment.
Yeah.
When this fucking guy is attacking me and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But in terms of unique curse words, I'll use fuck nugget.
That's awesome.
And then I'll also use douche nugget. I don't know why, but I attach like things to the word nugget. Who knows why?
You know, nugget time every time.
Yes.
I could go for some nuggets, just saying.
But yeah.
Okay. And those aren't that bad.
Yeah, it's really not that bad, like, because I feel like cursing already is already taking the necessary step up.
Yeah.
I feel no need to add any derogatory word after that. And I'm just like, fuck nugget.
Yeah.
Except obviously not in a calm voice like I just did right now. So
I just imagine you playing Dark Souls and then you die and you're like, oh, fuck nugget. It's just like super nonchalantly. So that's all I have to say about that topic.
Same here. I think one thing that Jeremy and I like to promote in general is just like the community, just talking about video games that we love. And obviously, like, there's like some frustrating things like with boss battles and like different stuff that happens in a game. But you know, if like we're just encouraging like really fun talk about things we like to do and play. So that's really what we're promoting here.
Yeah, and we want you guys to, you know, get into the discussion as well and maybe voice your opinion and voice your thoughts to us and we can discuss that on the podcast.
Yes. Definitely.
Speaking of that, we have a question/comment/question comment this week.
Yes, we have one question today, and it's a really long question.
And I love it. I love it, honestly.
Yes, and it was sent anonymously, but we just have to say, whoever sent this, like, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, super thanks.
Honestly, thank you. Like, we really like reading, again, we really like reading questions and comments, and my favorite are the long ones, because it really gives us time to think and gives us something to think about and to answer. So thank you. Again, thank you.
Yes, definitely. All right, Jeremy, go for it.
Okay, so Anonymous says, I discovered this website and podcast and listened to every single episode in 6 days while doing homework. I love the chemistry between you two, and listening to how the podcast improves throughout the weeks is incredible. I hope you two keep it up. While a lot of video game podcasts only focus on the news or are centered around one game, this is diverse and a great listen. I have a few questions as a new fan, some specific to both of you, and one random question for the both of you to answer. I can't wait to listen to more. For Jeremy, number 1, have you ever played Mount & Blade Warband? That one is my favorite of all of them, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Number 2, as a 2D platformer, why do you think this recent Sonic Mania has been popular in 2017? For Alyssa, number 1, for any Persona game you've played, which character did you choose for the protagonist to date? Number 2, do you feel any different as a female gamer? Do you feel that there are more expectations on you? And finally, a random question. It sounds like you two have careers, but when in college did you guys play this many games? I'm currently a sophomore and struggling to balance my studying and personal life. Any suggestions for fitting game time between everything? Sorry for the long response, but I wanted to ask some questions. Sincerely, a new fan of the podcast. Okay, I just want to say, Alyssa sent this to me like the night before, and I was really smiling when I read this entire thing, because I have to say, first of all, you listened to every single episode in 6 days while doing homework. Like, wow, I had to thank you very much.
I know, that's crazy.
Yo, like, well, thank you very much, because they'd listened to all 19 episodes. Like, holy crap, or however many at the time.
So that's pretty awesome. On top of that, each of our podcasts on average, I think, go to like 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. And so, wow,
so
6 days, you had a lot of time.
I know. Yes, thank you so much for your comment.
Yeah, thank you. And they also said a lovely chemistry between you two, and they like how we improve across throughout the weeks. And yeah, thank you for commenting on our chemistry. It's I think we have good chemistry too. We really like. It's kind of funny.
It's because we're Aquariuses.
Yeah,
that's why.
we're both born in the same month, in the same week, in the same year. So she's like 3 days older than me, literally 3 days older than me, and I think that's kind of crazy too.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that's why we have good chemistry.
It's not because we're coworkers. It's because we're Aquariuses, clearly.
And we're friends. We're also friends, Alyssa.
Yeah. We're Facebook friends. Which means that we're best friends, actually.
Yeah. Let Facebook dictate everything.
Clearly, yes.
Oh, yeah. I hope you two keep it up. Thank you very much. We are doing our best. And honestly, I don't really see an ending for the podcast. Like, this is so much fun doing this.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. I remember the first I slightly remember the first time we recorded the podcast, and it was really difficult for me to speak because I'd never talk in that type of manner where it would be publicly broadcasted. So it made me really nervous, and I've definitely become more comfortable. And like, I know that you, Jeremy, you talk a lot more in your field, but it was really difficult for me at first. And I got used to it, and especially it just makes it easy when you talk about things you love. So.
Oh yeah, no, totally. And plus, the way I think about it is, you and I are just having a conversation. Obviously,
exactly.
We have to watch what we say regarding some topics, but for the most part, you and I, they're just talking to each other, and that's nice too.
Definitely.
It's not like a gameplay video where you're talking to yourself and, there's no one there. Yeah. You're literally talking to the camera.
Exactly.
So that's why I like this podcast, where I get to literally talk to another human being about things that we both love, and that's what's great about just this podcast in general.
Of course.
Another part of their comment was, while a lot of video game podcasts only focus on the news or are centered around one game, this is a diverse and great listen. So thank you very much. Yeah, we try to keep it diverse, definitely. We like to voice our opinions.
Of course.
Yeah.
I know for me in general, like, you can kind of tell the type of games that I like to play or I would rather choose to play, and with Jeremy as well.
Mm-hmm.
But but I will say we're definitely not limited. Like, I'm always willing to try new things, and of course, Jeremy, like, I feel like your gaming interests are a little bit more diverse than mine are. Or especially because and I think it's because you play PC games that there's just like a lot of things available to you.
Yeah, and I think it's also good that we play different games, because I'm not a really big JRPG fan. I'm actually more into shooters, or I like to say used to be, and I really like playing shooters. And from your experience, you don't really like playing like a lot of shooters, where I actually played quite a few shooters. And next week I'll kind of talk about that with our special guest. But for now, like, I like how diverse we are with both of the games that we play, and we can definitely talk about them. And I definitely learn new things by listening to you talk about Persona and JRPGs, and listening to Gyros talk about music and video games, and just like both of you guys talking about whatever. So yeah,
100%. And I really like learning about your insight on like different things. Like, you'll know a lot of you'll know a lot more about like the companies as well, which I think is really cool.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's when I'd like to dive into a rabbit hole and just like read about a bunch of stuff. Like, one link leads to the next link, and they just keep like bridging together.
Definitely.
Yeah. So maybe we can answer your questions now.
You can go first, Jeremy.
Sure. So, the first question for me was, have you ever played Mount & Blade Warband? Yes, I own that game. I've sunk 300 or so hours into it, but I will preface this by saying I did not play the vanilla version of the game. I played a mod for the game. It's a reskin of the game. It's called Gakokujo, and it's a feudal Japan mod for the game. So it reskins the entire game to be set in the Sengoku.
You told me
period.
about this before.
Yes, I did. And
you totally told me about this before.
Yeah. And so just quickly about the mod, you either start your own clan or you join up with a clan. And what I did was I made my own clan, and I defeated all of the warlords around me, including some very famous ones like Tokugawa, and I killed him, and I took his land, and so now I'm trying to slowly take over Japan. I haven't played it in recent months because I've been busy playing other games, and I bought a PS4, and so that kind of like I had to divide my time between PC games and PS4 games. But yes, to answer your question on the first part, I have played Mount & Blade Warband. I love the game. I haven't played multiplayer on Mount & Blade Warband since my brother and I play with Fire and Sword multiplayer, and it's a lot more fun since the more people are active in that multiplayer aspect of that game. They also said that is one of their favorite games of all of the Mount & Blade series. Right now, I think it's just Mount & Blade Warband. There's also Napoleonic Wars, which is a DLC addition to Warband, which takes place obviously in the Napoleonic era. So right now with Fire and Sword is the one I'm playing for just multiplayer, but I did sink like a couple hundred hours into Gakokujo, the mod for Warband, and Warband is awesome. I agree with you. I think it's probably my favorite single-player Mount & Blade game.
Oh, nice.
To answer your second question, as a 2D platformer, why do you think this recent Sonic Mania has been popular in 2017? As a Sonic fan, I can tell you that a lot of the 3D Sonic games sucked. They sucked ass. Like, they had a brief stint. Honestly, Sonic Unleashed was about Sonic becoming a werewolf, and like, there were segments where it was really, really fast, and that was awesome. But then there were segments where Sonic would like turn to a werewolf, and it turned into like a beat 'em up brawl action RPG. It's like, what is happening? Why did Sega team like suddenly decide that this would be a good idea? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Sonic Boom, obviously, Rise of Lyric or whatever it's called, that game sucked. Sonic Colors, I heard it was okay. I didn't play it. No. And honestly, people just want to have the nostalgic feels again. And 2D platformers are really big right now. Like with Shovel Knight, Castlevania, all these retro-looking 2D platformers are really, really big. And when Sonic Mania was announced, it was it was like a callback to previous Sonic games, and honestly, it ties in to the very end of Sonic and Knuckles. Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles is where the game picks up from, where Sonic Mania picks up from, and it continues that story.
Yeah.
And there's actually a really, really deep and good story about Sonic Mania. There's a lot of details that were not able to be present in previous Sonic games that are present in this game, like just like background details, like the music, like little nods and Easter eggs to previous Sonic games are present in Sonic Mania. The mechanics of Sonic Mania are taken from those of previous Sonic games, even from 3D games. Like he does like this dash spin where he jumps in the air and dashes forward, which is something that was taken from Sonic Adventure, and I think that's really cool that they put it into a 2D game. The guys who made Sonic Mania actually were making Sonic fan games, and they made like an unofficial remake of Sonic 2 called Sonic 2 HD. And the studio is called Pagoda West. That's one of the studios that produced Sonic Mania, and they're comprised of like all these fanboys of Sonic. They all worked on Sonic fan games, and they got noticed by Sega, and Sega commissioned them to make Sonic Mania. And so I think that's really cool that fans can eventually, if they have enough passion and dedication, they can eventually go on to making something that they really love, like in a legal and long form capacity. And I think that's really cool that Sonic Team allowed these fans to make Sonic Mania. And so honestly, for all those reasons, to sum it up, Sonic Mania is popular because it's an amalgamation of nostalgic Sonic feels, modern tight gameplay, and just overall look and feel of the game. And honestly, I think that at $20, Sonic Mania is really affordable, and you're not missing out.
Yeah, a lot of people are kind of starting to realize that, wow, being charged over $40 or $50 for a game is ridiculous if the game is short.
Cough, cough.
Yeah.
Uncharted. Cough, cough.
Cough, cough, Uncharted. And I do know, like, just from like reading stuff, that Sonic Mania is relatively short, and it's $20, and if you 100% the game, it is also about like 20 hours into of gameplay. So, I mean, I think that's definitely worth it. And something like, it's affordable for people, and that really matters.
And you can play it on PC, you can play it on Xbox One, you can play it on PS4, you can play it on Switch eventually, I think. So it's available almost everywhere, to be honest. And they made it so that you have no excuse not to play it. And I really think that's awesome. I really can't wait to play the game. I'm gonna play it on PS4. Right now I'm just tied up with Yakuza, and once I finish Yakuza Kiwami, I'm gonna move on to Sonic Mania. And then I can maybe give you a more in-depth answer to this, anonymous listener. I can hopefully tell you more about this once I start playing it.
Very nice.
Yeah. Okay, so for Alyssa, number 1, for any Persona game you've played, which character did you choose for the protagonist to date?
Okay. For anyone who just wants some context on that, when you play your year in Persona, there's a lot of female characters, and you're that your character's friends with, as well as when you have side missions and confidants. So when you have your social links, you can actually choose someone to be your girlfriend. You can choose 2 people. You can choose all of them. Like, I'm not fucking kidding. Like, you can actually choose a lot of people today. Very nice. But I went the monogamous route for both of the games that I played. And so I tend to, when it comes to choosing a bae,
BAE, by the way, BAE.
When I choose a bae, I typically choose the one who I feel like is most like myself, because I don't know, that's just like what I go for.
Yeah.
So in Persona 4, I ended up going with Yukiko. I wanted to choose Chie, because I think Chie really is the most like myself, but the only reason that I didn't choose Chie is because I low-key thought that she was way better with Yosuke than with my character Yu. And like, just like some context, like Chie is like a sporty character. And very like super, like a super go-getter type person.
Is she really bubbly?
Bubbly is not the right word because there's another character who's more bubbly called Rise, and she's like a pop star. Like Chie is definitely talkative, but not in a bubbly way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I did choose Yukiko, who's a lot more quieter and like more organized and cares about her family and like cares about the inn that her family runs and all of that. But there's like so your side characters, your guy side character friends will never get with people, but like there's like some hints that clearly show that they like someone, and it seemed like Yosuke really liked Chie, so that's why I just never chose Chie, because like, man, I think those two would actually be cute together in my canon world.
in your head canon?
In my head canon.
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
actually not going to... I'm going to be the bro and not choose her.
Okay.
Persona 5 was a lot easier. It was Makoto all the way. Like, there was no other character, to be completely honest. Like, Makoto was like total bae.
I just think of the blind girl from Yakuza 0.
Oh, no. You know, I swear to God, this year, there's so many people named Makoto, like, in Terrace House, in Yakuza, in Persona. Like, holy crap, there's, like, all, like, this name is really popular right now.
Do you know anyone in real life with that name? Just curious.
No, I don't.
Oh, I don't either. Okay, just sidebar. Okay, continue.
Be our friend if your name's Makoto.
so I can look at you and say Makimura Makoto, and then look at you.
Oh my god.
Just kidding, but yeah.
Except not really, clearly. But JK. Sort of. Anyways,
yeah.
It was like a really obvious choice for me in Persona 5. And Makoto is like the class president, and she's like very inquisitive and kind of like although she has she starts off with a cold demeanor because she is class president and she's affected by a lot of the crimes that are happening, but deep down inside, like, she really cares about like the people around her. So like it would like, yeah, I actually really liked her character a lot out of all of the main characters.
She does sound like a bae. Like, dang.
Yeah, she is. Total bae.
Oh yeah, like marriage material, right?
Oh, this is clearly the girl in Persona that you're probably gonna marry.
Sounds
like, you know,
right.
if shit like that happened in real life.
Yeah.
'Cause I'll tell you the choices of people that you can marry in Persona. You can marry your homeroom teacher who ends up having a side job as a maid.
What the hell?
And I'm talking about those service maids that you hang out, that you can also pay to hang out with you.
Wait, how old are you? In the game? I mean, no.
Oh, I'm a high schooler. Yes, no, I know.
Oh no.
I know. Jeremy, believe me, I know.
This is weird.
This is a legitimate social link. You can have a relationship with your teacher.
And your teacher is a male or female?
She's female.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You can have a relationship with a fortune teller. You can have a relationship with a news reporter. You can have a relationship with a crooked doctor who sells drugs on the side.
Oh my goodness.
Like, I can't, like... And then there's also your classmates. But still, like, you have quite a choice of people to choose from.
Okay.
Yeah. Compared to Persona 4, where your choices were a lot more on the normal side. This one's like hardcore, like, you could date whatever the fuck you want. There's actually this really fun so I'm sorry, I'm digressing. I'll go to the next question.
No worries.
There's really, really funny side in Persona where it's Valentine's Day and you can choose who you want to hang out with. So of course, if you only chose one girlfriend at the end of everything, you'll just hang out with that girlfriend and everything's fine. But there is legit like a secret cutscene you can unlock if you decided to date every single and I mean it, like every single person in your confidant list, and they all find out that you had girlfriends.
What?
And there's like an actual cutscene if you unlock that.
What?
It's actually pretty fucking hilarious. It's on YouTube.
That's crazy.
It's pretty funny.
I want to make a comment about the choices that the people you get to date. I just imagine like the developers of the game were just sitting in a boardroom one day, and, like writing the game, like the story of the game, and they're like, "What if you dated this person?" Like, "Oh yeah, that'd be cool. What about that person? Yeah, why not? Why not?" So the whole game is
it's
like why not? Like the dating premise is like why not?
Yeah, it really is. It's like, why not date your teacher who's also a maid?
It's like, all right, okay. That's awesome.
The possibilities are endless.
Yeah, the sky's the limit, right, everyone?
Exactly. But yes, Yukiko and Makoto.
So you chose both of them, or you chose one of them?
Oh, sorry. Persona 4 is Yukiko, and Persona 5 is Makoto.
Okay.
But then a special nod to Chie. She's also legit.
Whoever these people are, I'll find out eventually, but awesome.
Whoever these people... You will find out eventually.
Yeah, I haven't played the game yet.
So the next... Yeah. Whenever you play it, you'll get it.
Yeah. I want to make I want to read you the next question, but I also want to make a comment on the next question after I read it real quick before you answer it.
Sure, go for it.
So number 2 for Lisa is: do you feel any different as a female gamer? Do you feel there are more expectations on you? I want to say that this is a very loaded question, but I love it, and I think Alyssa will give a really good answer. So take it away.
Oh my god. I hope I give a really good answer. I feel like this is a topic that can go on for a while, but I will try to give a very short answer.
Yeah, please.
So growing up, I really did feel really different as a gamer because, like, especially when gaming didn't blow up like it is right now, where it's easily accessible and you can watch a walkthrough by anyone, you can watch a live stream, you can do all of these things. When gaming was just kind of like in your own thing, and you had PlayStation mags and Nintendo mags, and you only had your console, and your friend brought your console over during like a middle school party, like, that type of culture. When that happened, it was really weird for people to find out that I was a gamer. And it kind of like oh, really? You play games? Like, the tone of voice was not necessarily like, oh, you play games? It was like oh, like as if that was, in growing up, it was never an outright like, oh, that's fucking weird. Why are you playing games? It was like oh, that's an interesting fact. Like, it was like treated like that. So for me as a female gamer in high school and growing up, it was like it was very different because my ex was also a gamer, as well as growing up, like my cousin, like one of my closest guy cousins, he also whatchamacallit, like introduced me to a lot of games. He introduced me to the PlayStation for the first time. I had like people around me that treated it as if it was like oh, whatever, you're a gamer.
Yeah.
We'll move forward to now, and there are like female gamers out there who are like out there and they're super public, and it's awesome that they blog and they write about it. Like on IGN, there's a gamer, Alana Pierce on IGN, and I really like listening to her commentary. And there's also a podcast out there called What's Good Games, and it's all female gamers who host that podcast. What's nice is it's opened up a platform for female gamers to just kind of like be out there and say their thing, because the thing is, not only are there other female gamers who will watch it, but there's also just like male gamers and just everyone who are interested in hearing what their opinions are.
Yeah.
Real quick. So that being said, that is a much more positive take on how it feels to be a female gamer. So I'll acknowledge the other side before you talk. There are a lot of people who are very discriminatory towards female gamers, and who I'll say like they look down on you, and they kind of like you have to be held at like a higher standard to kind of play with them. And on top of that, obviously, like, and it kind of going back to what I talked about before, depending on your background, where you grew up, like how you grew up, you may not view females to like do this type of stuff. So it really is like an oddity to you, and you think that's not right.
As a male, I think it's obviously on the flip side of that. I'm not discriminatory against anyone in gaming. I think gaming should be for everyone.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Ashley Jenkins and Mika Burton from Rooster Teeth, because they're female gamers. They're female gamers, and they're very inspiring because they not only report on gaming news from Rooster Teeth, but they also talk about video games a lot, and they play video games like live streaming and stuff like that. And I think it's really awesome, and I think we need more female gamers in the spotlight when it comes to new media.
Nothing in games is gender specific at all.
Yeah.
And this might be going way too deep, but like games have like really helped people out in such positive ways.
Yes.
And it helped me out in an incredible, like, it helped me out in a very positive way. It helped kind of like formulate who I am today. And yeah, I'm a female, and it doesn't really matter. So there's nothing like games are very gender neutral. Like, no one is telling you not to play this game, and female gamers are out there, and they are very, very awesome.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm talking to one right now.
Well, thanks, Germs.
You're welcome, Alyssa. And to kind of like add to this in a way, discrimination towards anyone playing video games used to be a really big thing back when I was growing up. Like, even as a male, like, people would discriminate. It doesn't matter what gender you were. Like, oh, you play video games? Like, someone asked me that one time in middle school. Like, what are you gonna do when you get home? Like, I'm gonna go play like some Sega Genesis or whatever. And they're like, oh, like, you play video games? Like, that's, oh, okay. And I was like, like, why is that weird?
What does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like they look down on me. And now I like how it's gotten to the point where video games are cool now. Like how anime is cool now. Like we talked about in the anime podcast. Like, anime and video games used to be like seen as like the nerdy thing, but now it's cool because like everyone can watch. There's like something for everyone, basically. Everyone can play it. Everyone can watch it.
Totally agree. I don't want to, like, this is like a completely different topic, but just like access, internet, globalization, it helps people understand why this stuff is cool to us and why we continue doing it. Yeah.
Team Internet.
Team Internet.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Yes.
So for the final question, it sounds like you guys have careers, but when in college did you guys play this many games? I'm currently a sophomore, and they're struggling to balance their studying and personal life, and they're asking, do they have any suggestions for fitting game time between everything?
So for me, I will admit I played the least amount of games when I was in college, and I did have my PS3 with me. Homework really does suck. Like, studying takes up a lot of time. Of course, these are all important things to graduate. So definitely don't stop doing your homework just to play games.
Yeah.
But the important thing is balance, school life. And this is how I like solved it. So for one, I just made sure that at some point in my life I was taking a break. Whatever that means to you, whether it's playing a game for 30 minutes, playing a game for 3 hours on the weekend, like eating, like, doing whatever you have, just take a break, because it's not healthy to study all the time, and it's not healthy to dedicate your life to school.
No matter what your major is.
Yes, no matter what your major is. Next, for me, how I played games when I was in college is I played games that had shorter storylines. So, yeah. And I love single campaign games. I like actually going through like a story and learning about different things and the narrative. So what I did in college was that was the first time I played Uncharted, and I played Grand Theft Auto 5. And those games, like, their storylines really are like only 15 to 20 hours. What also helps, and obviously it might be easier for you if you decide to go this route, is You are on commute to school. You are doing a lot of different things. You're on the go. Sometimes you have to stay on campus for your classes, and it kind of makes no sense for you to go to school or go back home for like that hour. So mobile gaming, portables like the Switch or like the PSP, like are very useful because one of the games that I played on my portable was Crisis Core.
Ooh.
When I was in college, and that's when I played Persona 4 for the first time on portable. And that's my answer.
Cool. I like that answer. I had a kind of similar way of doing that with a few tweaks. So
yes,
I had a planner, like a physical planner, and I'd plan out when all my classes were, and if I had time between classes to go back home and maybe like relax or rest, I would maybe squeeze in some game time there. But I tried to prioritize it. And I think that's the best part is like making time for everything and like planning it out in your planner and making sure that you dedicate at least 1 hour to homework or however much you need for homework.
Yeah.
And then on the weekdays too, like if you want to play on the weekdays, at least prioritize your schedule. So when you what time do you come home? Like, or what time are you going to eat? What time are you going to expected to start and finish homework? How much homework do you have? Is it really necessary to play a game that day? Like, can you put it off until the weekend? So I kind of switched between two different styles where I would limit myself on the weekdays. I either play like 1 hour or two, and of a game and just like cut it so that I only played games that I could easily save at any point and then come back to it later.
Makes sense.
Or I would not play any games at all in the week and only play on the weekends when I had more time. And if I was too busy, then I wouldn't play games. If I had plans, then obviously I could squeeze that time in, and hence going back to the planner. There are also times when my friends and I would get together on weekends, and we would like schedule this in advance and plan out to have like a LAN party. And this is like when my love for PC gaming like came into play, where we would play. For example, there were two instances where on 2 different weekends we played this custom map in Left 4 Dead 2, which was of Silent Hill, and we had to find all these keys and like items to open doors. We played that map for 7 hours, and we didn't realize it. And because we didn't play in the week, we kind of like it was okay for us to play like on the weekend, at least for me. And there was another instance where we played Age of Empires, and we were playing against like really, really hard bots. And we wanted to see how far we would get. And so games like that lasted 5 hours because we would run away. Yeah, and we would like run away from the bots and like hide in a corner and rebuild our entire empires. But yeah, so we would plan it out. We would strategize it. Like my friends and I when we want to play like long sessions. And to add on to Elisa's points, yeah, I also did the scheduling, and I also would limit myself when playing a game. And would it make sense to play a game during the week, or does it make more sense to play on the weekend when you have more time? And honestly, it's all about prioritizing what is important in your life. Like, is there a final coming up? Obviously, you should be studying for the final instead of trying to squeeze 30 minutes into playing a game. Yes, you need a break, and maybe 30 minutes is the only peace of mind you'll get when you're playing a video game. But prioritize your schedule. Make sure that you have your shit together.
Yes.
Make sure there's no big tests or exams coming up where playing a game doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna play a game during that time, like during a stressful time, play it. Play like Stardew Valley. Play Harvest Moon. Play Animal Crossing. Play a lifestyle game that'll de-stress you.
The Sims.
Sims. I don't know. Sims can be stressful too.
That shit is like depending on how you play The Sims. It can be one of the most stressful things ever.
You can micromanage it and just be like, oh no.
I know.
Or like even Minecraft, like single player Minecraft is pretty relaxing creative mode where like nothing attacks you. You could just literally like when I was stressed out in college, I would play single player Minecraft and I would rebuild my hometown house from when I grew up as a kid, and I would rebuild that in Minecraft, and it was just really relaxing because I got to like try to remember what it looked like, since I was so far away from home and I didn't really go home on the weekends or weekdays when I was in college. So just my comment to sum it all up is to prioritize, and since you're still a sophomore, you're still learning, and that's gonna in time you will learn how to prioritize all your schedule and when to squeeze in some games, and I hope you play some really good games as a college student.
Yes, definitely. I have, when you were talking about your friends, this is my final suggestion for playing games. So, if you don't have friends who play video games, I would actually suggest like looking at your club list at your college, because there is a good chance that there might be like tens of like lots of video game clubs, like directly about video, like just generalizing video games or specific to a video game. Like where I went, there was a club specifically for Smash, and they actually hosted tournaments on the weekends.
And even if you go to the club, you don't necessarily have to play. Like if it's a tournament and you're not going to be good at that video game, you don't have to play. You can just sit there and watch and mingle and make new friends. And then maybe you'll all find out that you all love a game collectively and play that together. Yeah, and maybe hit up some arcades there too. If in your area, if there's some arcades, like an on-campus arcade, like take some friends and play some games there. I mean, honestly, the best video game experiences I've ever had in college were with other people.
Yeah, especially because like it's very common to have an arcade like with a bowling alley or like a pool billiards area in college. Like just go for it.
Yeah, and I wanted to add, if there's no arcade and you do have your consoles with you, or and if you have an adequate amount of controllers, have like a party at your house for like video games, like have like a game party or something. That'll be fun.
LAN party.
Yeah. Or like play a Mario Party drinking game. Those are fun. Yeah, that's all I have to say. And
unless you're a sophomore who's 20 years old, then no.
Yeah, we don't know how old you are. Yeah, don't do that. We're not trying to promote underage drinking.
Then do not do that.
Yes, please. We're not trying to promote that at all.
Yeah,
I hope we answered your question.
Yes, good luck in college, and just for anyone out there, just don't make college your life.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it is your life, but there's just so many aspects that you have to balance out.
Exactly.
As a general statement.
Yeah. Totally. And, that's all I have to say about that for now.
Happy 20th anniversary of the podcast.
Yeah, that's actually true. That's a good point.
Happy 20th episode.
2 hours for 20 episodes. Yeah.
2 hours for 20 episodes. Thank you for following us throughout since February, actually.
Yeah, thank you for following us since February.
I just realized we started the first week of February because the second episode was our birthdays. So that makes sense. Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Wow, it's crazy to think that we've had 20 episodes so far.
I know, and we've covered a lot of shit.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're not going to run out of ideas because we don't have to have a specific agenda most of the time. We could just talk about whatever, and I think that's fun too.
Definitely.
Isn't that what podcasts are? You just talk about whatever?
Talk about whatever you want.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah, and Jeremy and I, on top of talking about video games, we do plan on having a lot more podcasts and podcasts that include like non-related ones. Yeah, one-offs that do not talk about video games, just to liven some things up. And a lot of people, you may not want to listen to us talk about video games. You might actually be interested in like what movies we're watching. So
yeah, leave us a comment or question. Honestly, like we want to hear what you guys think, and if you guys have a suggestion for us in the future to talk about something, we'll definitely try to cover it. And yeah, let us know. All right. You can find us on iTunes now, which is super awesome. Thanks, Alyssa, for hooking us up with that.
Yes.
And you can find us on Podbean, SoundCloud, YouTube. Make sure you go to triangle-c.blog, click on Downtime Podcast at the top, and follow our links there. Tell your friends about us. Tell your friends about us, about our little podcast.
All right.
Thank you for listening to the 20th episode of the Downtime Podcast. My name is Jeremy.
My name is Alyssa.
And thank you for listening. Good night.
Have a good night.
Good night.